By the end of the year, more than 400,000 American homes had solar. Don Daler introduces us to one man.
SpaceX recently bought 2 floating oil rigs dubbed Phobos and Deimos that will be converted into seafaring launch pads for the SpaceX Starship.
Imagine a secret space station orbiting Earth, masterminded by the one and only Elon Musk.
Looking for a good site to dump some space junk? Look no farther than Point Nemo. Nations around the world bring down old spacecraft when possible in the most remote place on Earth called Point Nemo.
With NASA set to retire the ISS by 2030, could the rumors of a covert space station actually be true? Stay tuned as I uncover everything you need to know about a hidden space station and more. Number 1. Hidden space station. When it comes to ambitious plans, Elon Musk tops the list. His revolutionary plans have long been a target for criticism, but that hasn't stopped him one bit. In fact, he's continued to come up with some of the most outrageous yet brilliant schemes to transform the world. But if I'm being honest, some of his plans are really mysterious. Like his plan to colonize Mars, for example. I mean, sure, it's revolutionary, but what's his motive?
With our current knowledge of physics, but with engineering we have yet to develop, we can imagine a propulsion system with the sun for a heart.
Why does he want to make humans a multi-planetary species? And now there's a new rumor going around about how he wants to build a hidden space station. It's definitely convenient for a man who wants regular trips to and from Mars. But why is he keeping it hidden? Is there something he's hiding from us? Well, I did some digging around, and what I found left me shocked. This secret hidden space station will have the most advanced technology ever, with a state-of-the-art research facility serving as a sanctuary for groundbreaking experiments. But here's the twist. A lot of people believe this space station isn't for groundbreaking experiments and stuff.
Like and subscribe right now, and you'll have amazing luck for the rest of the week.
It's actually going to be a retreat for the elite. Picture this. There's a catastrophe on Earth, and with nowhere left to hide, the wealthy elite turn their eyes to the cosmos. Elon's SpaceX helps them launch from Earth and take refuge in his hidden space station. Or, should I say, safe haven. At the end of the day, it's still just a rumor, but who knows what the eccentric billionaire is cooking up. Number 2. Destroying the ISS. Don't you find it strange how word of his hidden space station started to come forward after NASA announced they'd be destroying the ISS? And check this out. NASA has picked SpaceX to assist them in destroying and bringing down the ISS after several decades of service. It's starting to show serious signs of decay, as nearly 80% of Russian modules are outdated. Believe it or not, it took nearly $150 billion to develop and send the ISS to space, and now it's going to cost around $1 billion to bring it back down. NASA and the boys over at SpaceX have an elaborate plan to bring it down via a controlled descent to prevent a potential debris fallout. But what's SpaceX's role in all of this? Well, it's going to be a tug of war, as a SpaceX Dragon capsule will bring the ISS down right before a fiery descent. Just think about that for a second. Imagine the pressure. That's about 400 tons of fire coming straight at the Earth. And what's the next step in this dangerous plan? Number 3. Operation Cleanup. Now, imagine this. The Dragon capsule has successfully brought the ISS down enough so that it can break through our atmosphere. What next? How in the world do we control 400 tons of fire coming straight at the Earth? As much as I want to tell you not to worry, all I can say is this. NASA and SpaceX have a solid plan in place to avoid a disaster in the making. Remember how I told you it's going to be a controlled descent? They're going to guide it down to Point Nemo to avoid the Kessler syndrome. What's that? It's a devastating debris fallout, as tiny collisions send particles flying in all directions, with most of them coming straight at Earth. But with a controlled descent, NASA and SpaceX can prevent that by guiding the ISS to Point Nemo.
Most of the space station is expected to disintegrate in the atmosphere, but experts say some parts weighing up to 100 kilograms could reach the Earth's surface.
And in case you're curious like me, Point Nemo is basically a space graveyard in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, serving as a final resting place for thousands of spacecraft. Either way, it's going to be a remarkable moment as it marks the end of a legendary era. Oh, and a fun fact. Did you know that astronauts from over 20 nations have visited the ISS? Crazy, right? Number 4. Future space station. So, what does the future hold? We need a space station. I'll get to the details in a bit, but with the Tiangong space station still in orbit, It seems to me that that's going to be the ISS. Of course, there's still a lot of time, and several countries have already started the development of their space station.
It has 7 adjustable levels, just as flexible as a human's arm. Now, technonauts can stand on the robotic arm and move around quickly.
It's going to be super interesting as we're about to get one of the most advanced and futuristic space stations of all time. But it's also a nice opening for Elon, who's already in the process of developing his very own hidden space station. Plus, with so much influence and such a head start in the space game, Elon might just be a hidden player. Number 5. Oceanic spaceports. Regardless of what's going on in space, Elon is taking it up a notch here on Earth, as well as he's directed SpaceX to start work on oceanic spaceports. Because the Mars mission will require frequent launches, having bases near residential areas or on land itself will have several implications. For starters, it's going to be devastating for ecosystems and local wildlife. Secondly, despite the rockets being reusable, it's still going to dump a huge amount of CO2 in our atmosphere. So, the idea of having launch ports in the middle of the ocean is really smart.
The SpaceX Starship doesn't just take people to Mars. You can travel from a floating spaceport off the coast of New York.
But I do have my concerns. What about marine life? I mean, I don't think any living creature on this planet wants to live near a launch site with a ton of noise pollution. It might be a better option than turning Texas into a launch pad, but let's see. This is still in the theoretical phase as Elon and his team determine the feasibility of the project. Floating space stations are already a thing, but I don't know if they're equipped to support the Starship. Number 6. Colonizing Mars. A hidden space station, oceanic spaceports, colonizing Mars. Is it just me, or does Elon sound like an evil billionaire? But yeah, colonizing Mars remains one of his most controversial plans yet, as he plans to send the first humans to the Red Planet in the next decade. Whether he'll be able to do it or not is a different story, but still, he's the first person in the world who's taken practical steps to actually do the impossible. Before Elon, everyone only speculated, but he was actually in the midst of it all as he gears up to take on humanity's biggest challenge yet.
The channels between the messes could have been formed by the collapse of underlying material.
He's even built an advanced spacecraft for the unforgiving journey, and don't worry, I'll get to that in a bit. Anyway, despite having an overly ambitious plan to colonize Mars, this plan of his has been ripped apart by experts from all over the world. While most of them believe he can get to the planet, making it livable is a far shot, since Mars simply does not have the necessities to support life. But not to worry, Elon has a plan for that as well. Number 7. Restarting the Red Planet. Before I tell you his big plan, let me tell you about the major problem when it comes to life on the Red Planet. I think it's pretty obvious we can't breathe in space, and even though Mars has its own atmosphere, there's simply not even CO2 in the air to generate enough heat. Without heat, the planet is pretty much unlivable. And don't get me wrong, there are plenty of signs that, provided we're able to take all the right steps, life on Mars is actually possible. But how do we warm up the planet? Well, believe it or not, there are enormous CO2 deposits frozen beneath the surface of the planet. And if we were to somehow melt and evaporate them into the atmosphere, Mars would warm up and become slightly livable. That brings me to my next question. How do you melt those massive CO2 deposits? If you're Elon, then the best way to warm up the planet is by nuking it? Yep, you heard that right. Nuke the poles of the planet to warm up the planet. It sounds crazy, I know. I'll get to all the different dilemmas in a bit, but before that, let's talk about the revolutionary Starship. Number 8, the ultimate vessel. Behold, the Starship, the most advanced vessel of this century. This bad boy is made up of 3 different parts: the ship itself, the super heavy launcher, and the Raptor engines. Altogether, this engineering marvel stands tall at an impressive 121 meters tall. It's powerful enough to blast to Mars, and that's not all. At its full capacity, the Starship can actually go beyond Mars as well. The best part about this crazy vessel is that it's reusable. The super heavy launcher detaches in stage 2 of the launch and falls back to Earth. Oh, and by the way, it's a controlled fall. The super heavy will go through a controlled fall, landing back on one of the spaceports. After that, it will be refueled and used for another launch. Through this, Elon can send frequent trips to and from Mars, making the colonizing mission a whole lot more sustainable. But what's powering this huge machine? A total of 33 Raptor engines are powered by liquid oxygen and subcooled liquid methane, a modern propellant offering way more power and sustainability. Jumping back to that hidden space station, just imagine if Elon is able to pull this off. Instead of having to land the heavy launchers back on Earth, He can just dock them at his hidden space station, making the trips to Mars even shorter. Number 9, ethical dilemma. Sorry to burst your bubble, guys. I know the entire plan sounds super radical and all, but there are a lot of implications we need to think about, especially the ethical dilemma behind colonizing a planet. For starters, what happens if the mission failed? I know this is at the back of everyone's head over at SpaceX, including Elon as well. What if the Starship doesn't make it to Mars? Or worse, what if the first batch of humans are unable to figure things out on the planet? Did Elon just send hundreds of humans to their certain deaths? And don't get me wrong, I know these people will be signing waivers and all because, let's face it, I'm sure we can find 100 capable adrenaline junkies who'd absolutely love to step foot on a different planet. There's a lot of issues with the project, and honestly, even though SpaceX is making a lot of progress, I think it's best if we wait to see how things unfold in the coming years. Number 10. The space economy. With Trump ready to be sworn in as president for the second time, expect to see a lot of changes in the space economy. Even though SpaceX has a direct line to the White House, there's going to be a lot of competition. The satellite internet industry is about to have a lot more players enter in the next 4 years.
Estimates show that by the time new spacesuits are actually in use, NASA will have spent more than $1 billion on the redesign and production.
At the top of my head, Amazon's Project Kuiper and Apple's $1.7 billion investment in Globalstar and AST Space Mobile will make things way more competitive for Starlink. In terms of overall space travel, SpaceX is about to have a lot of fun, since Trump in office means fewer federal and local regulation. This will allow Elon to speed up testing and launching, possibly giving a new perspective to commercial space travel. Number 11, Bezos versus Musk. The game is on, ladies and gentlemen. The space race between Bezos and Musk has reached an unprecedented height as both players continue to push the boundaries of space exploration and commercialization. I'm going to keep it real with you. Elon's Starship has been dominating the landscape as SpaceX continues to edge out a lead over Blue Origin. But Bezos isn't threading lightly either. He's keeping a close eye on his competitor and plans to compete in every way possible, and that's quite visible, especially after the launch of the New Glenn rocket. Much like the Starship, the Glenn rocket is designed to launch heavy loads to and from the ISS, also offering commercial space travel services. But if I'm talking about overall vision, you gotta hand it to Elon. He's the winner, hands down. He's doing everything Bezos is but better. As far as commercial travel goes, Elon has reusable rockets that are going to considerably bring down the price. And then you have the Mars mission as well, which we've already discussed in depth. Blue Origin, on the other hand, isn't really focused on exploring the cosmos, but is more of a supporting player to assist other space agencies in complex operation. Number 12, the spy game. Well. Who would have ever thought Mr. Elon would be a part of the spy game? According to the latest news, Northrop Grumman has partnered with SpaceX to launch around 50 spy satellites. Word is, the cameras themselves will be fitted by Northrop Grumman, while SpaceX will provide the satellites. And this won't even be happening at a SpaceX facility. No, sir. SpaceX will transport all 50 of the satellites to a secret facility where they will be tested before launch. Does this mean Elon is about to get top security clearance? Well, as cool as that would be, Elon isn't going to be getting a direct line to the Pentagon. In fact, this isn't the first time SpaceX satellites have been used for covert operation. They've been used by the secret services to monitor a variety of operations in the state. And here's the crazy part. Not even Elon has access to anything. The agencies simply pay them for the launch, and that's it. What they do after is nothing business, but I'm sure he's not complaining since it's probably getting him some big bucks. Number 13, the devil's advocate. I'm going to play the devil's advocate and you might not like it. What if the critics are right, folk? What if Elon is as evil as people paint him to be? What if he knows something about the future that we don't? He has all the money in the world and could spend the rest of his life on a yacht someplace private, but he still chooses to work every single day, struggling to get humans to Mars. What could it be? World War III, food or water shortages, or something else? A natural disaster? I'm not sure, but the urgency is kind of alarming. And another thought that comes to mind is, say he's successful in colonizing the Red Planet. What then? Who's going to be in charge there? Who's going to be the ruler? I mean, it's natural to assume that the ruler would be the colonizer, aka Elon Musk. Are we ready to hand over an entire planet to a billion? And what does it mean for everyone back on Earth? Is it just going to be a trip for the elite? As things continue to deteriorate on Earth, everyone will want a way out, but only those capable of paying the money will be able to leave. Sounds like it's just going to make things worse than better. Number 14, European competition. So remember when I mentioned that SpaceX is about to get a lot of competition? Well, the majority of it is going to come from Europe, as several companies gear up to accelerate in 2025. The list is never ending. The exploration company, Maya Space, Airbus, Thales, Leonardo, and Rocket Lab as well. All these are different companies looking to give Elon SpaceX a real run for their money in the coming year. And these aren't small-time players either. Take Rocket Lab, for example. It launched 2 rockets into orbit within 24 hours. You heard that right? 2 rockets in just 24 hours. And then you have the Space Exploration Company and their fine-tuned product called Nix. It's a reusable capsule that can be used to transport humans and cargo to space, positioning itself as a direct competitor to SpaceX's Dragon capsule. And as far as a reusable rocket goes, leave that to Maya Space. The European Space Agency has intensified efforts as it looks to build a reusable equivalent of the Super Heavy launch. But regardless of all the competition Elon is about to get, the next few years might just serve as the golden years of space exploration and travel. Number 15, Chinese competition. Elon better get his game face on. If he thought the competition was only coming from Europe, he's seriously mistaken. It's coming from China. Along with already having a space station in orbit, the next couple of years will be huge for the Chinese space program. It's going to give Starlink the craziest competition ever, as it plans to launch more than 30,000 satellites in the next few years. In early December, China launched its 3rd batch of low Earth orbit satellites for a constellation known as the Thousand Sail. The project aims to become a direct competitor of Starlink, set to launch a total of 15,000 satellites. Another project by the name of Guo Wang plans to deploy around 13,000 satellites. But that's not all. There's a 3rd project as well. Honghu 3 is aiming to provide global internet services by launching a total of 10,000 satellites. As of right now, there are only around 6,350 satellites in orbit, but don't worry. Elon sees all the competition and plans to have an astonishing total of 42,000 satellites in the next decade. Number 16, Tesla video leak. Enough of SpaceX and rockets, let's talk about some controversy. Have you heard about the Tesla video leaks? Wait till you hear this. Tesla is facing the heat after some insiders revealed how there are literal chat rooms with private user videos being circulated among employees. What sort of private videos, though? Well, the inside of homes, intimate moments, and even kids. The worst part is how Tesla has refused to comment on the matter. It's really weird, considering how Tesla is super dedicated to privacy and all that. I mean, even their website claims that all their systems are designed, while keeping user privacy as the highest priority. I guess that isn't the case, as users are left devastated after learning their private videos are being watched by employees. Keep watching though, it gets worse. Tesla claims that the vehicle sometimes records even when it's switched off. They do it to record important data and make the driving experience more immersive and efficient. What? How do you make the driving experience better when the car is switched off? Anyway, let's see what this means for Tesla in the future. Number 17, Master Manipulator. Biting into the controversy. I think it's only fair we talk about his twisted manipulation tactic. I mean, I don't think he's doing it with ill intentions, but I guess he knows his power and isn't afraid to use it either. Like, remember that time when he tweeted about Tesla's private share price going up to $420? His investors were pissed at how it was so easy for him to manipulate the market, which promoted an SEC lawsuit against the billionaire. So, just how much did that tweet cost him? $20 million? Yep, that tweet alone cost him $20 million. But Elon wasn't too bothered and said that it was totally worth it. He's also known for manipulating the crypto market as well, and the most infamous that comes to mind is the Doge coin incident. Elon tweeted about that coin hard, literally moving the entire market. And trust me, he got his fair share of criticism for it, as crypto bros blasted him for messing with the market and literally ruining people's lives. If you ask me, it's kind of scary how he has so much power. Number 18, Solar City drama. The drama doesn't end there. Elon isn't just a revolutionary billionaire. He's been the center of controversy for his entire life, like that Solar City episode. Here's how the story goes. Elon's cousin started a venture back in the early 20s. To be fair, they had a really good mission. They wanted to make solar installation cheap for everyone. And when you have a cousin as rich as Elon, raising money ain't that hard. Anyway, Musk put up the money and Solar City was born. Thanks to some extremely aggressive marketing, Solar City was an instant hit as they grew by several folds until they messed with the wrong market. They decided to introduce bonds, allowing their investors to invest in their projects and get some profit. That obviously didn't end well for them, as good old Elon had to bail them out through a multi-billion-dollar merger with Tesla. The move didn't sit well with Tesla investors at all, as they claimed it messed with Tesla's stock value. They also doubted Elon's intentions, claiming he put his cousins first instead of investor relations. What do you think? Was the Solar City merger just a bailout, or did Elon genuinely have something in mind? Number 19, richest man in the world. SpaceX, Tesla, The Boring Company, Neuralink. It's no surprise that Elon is the richest person in the world, but credit should be given where credit is deserved, and Musk has taken every challenge head-on to achieve this feat. He's not the richest man because he got lucky or something. He's the richest man because he's taken risks that no other soul on the planet is willing to take. Believe it or not, he's the first person in history to have a net worth of over $400 billion. Yup. 400. It all happened after an insider sale of SpaceX shares as his personal wealth grew to nearly $430 billion. And if you've ever wondered how much money is too much money, then this has to be it. He has pretty much everything he wants, and he's still not packing it up as he announces project after project. Hate him or love him. But there's absolutely no doubt that we're living in his era. The crazy part about this is how he will continue to grow richer and more influential in the years to come, as he has such ambitious plans in store for us. Number 20, a true revolutionary. Forget all the money for a second. Let's talk about legacy. Do you think there's any billionaire in the world who's going to have a larger impact than Elon? Honestly speaking, I think he's done enough for his legacy to live on for centuries. I mean, the first person to build reusable rockets that land by themselves? That's incredible. And don't even get me started about the Mars plan. I've said enough about that already. Then he wants to cure mental diseases by implanting a chip inside the brain, build tunnels underneath cities to reduce traffic, and create a hyperloop to travel faster. Elon is undoubtedly one of the greatest revolutionaries this world has ever seen. Anyway, that's it for today's video, folks. So, what do you think? Are the rumors of Elon building a hidden space station true? And who will lead the space race in the years to come? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more interesting videos in the future. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.